We're live, baby. Sunday Service episode number 52 coming right after you. Right after Derrick Lewis knocks out Taliesin Teixeira round one. Questionable stoppage. Did he cheat? Yes. Should the ref have stepped in? Yes. Should he have stopped the fight? Probably. I'm not mad about it. I didn't have any money on Taliesin Teixeira, but I did have money on the under 1.5, so that was an easy cash. But when it came down to it, I was just happy to see Derrick Lewis get his hand raised and take his pants off and piss at his corner. And the possibility of Derrick Lewis fighting Tom Aspinall, okay? Tom Aspinall is most likely supposed to be fighting Cyril Gane. But if Derrick Lewis is up for the challenge, could be an interesting one, man. Derrick Lewis back in the title talks. I mean, that's really all it takes. A win over a guy with one fight in the UFC. And we're talking about Derrick Lewis versus Tom Aspinall for the heavyweight championship. Shout out to D. Lou, though. Always entertaining, even though he doesn't really want the main events because they're scheduled for 25 minutes. It's more fun when he's in a main event because the show is centered around him. He stole the show, of course. Last night, I actually thought last night's card was pretty solid, dude. Like, for a fight night, I thought there were a lot of great finishes. There were a lot of great fights. I can't really remember a boring fight, honestly. I guess maybe the Garcia-Cater fight, but even then, we've seen a lot more boring fights than that. So last night's card was pretty dang good. I got to give some props to some big finishes, you know. Morgan Charrier, round 3 KO. Sucked to see Nate Landwehr go down like that. I was really thinking that Nate was coming on strong. I think I'd have to look at the scorecards. I kind of want to. I was wanting to do that. But I thought it was 1-1 going into the third. I'm going to look him up right now. And then Nate was like starting to take over, and then Charrier just hit him with the perfect shot to the side of the head. And then Nate just couldn't recover. And that's the problem when you're 37, and that's how you fight, dude. Oh, Fatima Klein head kick was nasty. That was absolutely brutal. Saved me on a bet right there. Mike Davis gets back in the win column. Walter Walker does it again. Walter Walker did it again, boys. Round 1 sub, heel hook. I mean, I had put in a group chat earlier in the week. I think it was Maddie. Maddie was talking about Walter getting another heel hook. I was like, dude, he could probably heel hook Kennedy. I mean, Kennedy's not immune to getting heel hooked. And then I talked myself out of it. I picked Kennedy, and Walter Walker does it again, dude. Is Walter Walker possibly, you know, on the rise towards the heavyweight title? All right, scorecards for Landwehr Charrier. One judge had it 2-0, Nate Landwehr. One judge had it 1-1, and the other judge had it 1-1. So Nate was in route to possibly winning that fight, gets caught in the third. Unfortunate. Tuco Tokos gets a UFC W. Did not see that one coming. Well, actually, I kind of did. I picked it, but I didn't have a lot of faith in it. Just say that. Junior Taffa, not great. Vitor Petrino at heavyweight, probably going to make some noise. Get a win at heavyweight, and you're right in the talks. Overall, pretty good card. Pretty good card. Can't complain when it's a packed. I didn't really realize how many ranked fighters that were on that card until it started to happen. You know, actually, the main card wasn't that bad. I didn't really think it was great looking at it, but it looked great. I'm sure you guys probably want to talk about the stoppage, or at least get some opinion on the stoppage. I'm interested to hear what you guys got to say about the stoppage, because I saw both sides of the story. Like, he clearly cheated, but you can't stop the fight. They stopped the fight because he cheated, and that's okay. I'm interested to hear what you guys got to say about it, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm not going to be pissed about it. I could tell you that. Derrick Lewis knocked him out, or knocked him down pretty clean. It was just the timing of when Herzog stepped in. It was like, dude, Teixeira had just gotten back up, was probably about to start fighting back. And I don't know if Herzog was stepping in because of the fence grab, and then he was like, okay, let me just stop the fight because it'll look better. I don't know. Very weird. Dixon Sider in the chat. How we doing? Gotta love Jason Herzog. Ben Roberts, what's going on, brother? Hayden, can we see you kiss Hasbullah? I'm not going to disrespect my boy Hazi like that, okay? I'm just not going to do that, but I got my boy Hazi right here. He's always chilling on the couch. Steve Garcia decision was free. Calvin Kattar, come on, bro. I mean, if you're talking about the worst way to fight Steve Garcia, that was probably it. Just not throwing anything back at him. Steve Garcia really didn't have to fear anything the entire fight because Calvin Kattar wasn't throwing a punch. There's always a ticket for something. Saw somebody win $440 off $10 on a Derrick Lewis to win within the first 60 seconds. I saw somebody bet on Derrick Lewis to win in the first 30 seconds, and it lost by 5 seconds. It was plus 7,000, I think, or 70,000. Crazy odds. It would have been nasty if it cashed it. So was Walker heel. Yeah, dude, the Walker heel hook. BetMGM had a plus 800. And in hindsight, that looks like value. That looks like real good value, dude. Anytime that Walter Walker is on your back, you got to be fearful he's going to roll for a heel hook. That's scary for heavyweights that really can't grapple all that well. Yeah, he definitely panic tapped. I mean, it wasn't even a panic tap, really. It was kind of, but like he wasn't getting out of it. It wasn't like he could have fought his way out of it. Like that thing was locked in. He probably would have shredded his leg. When is a realistic time frame for that Aspinall Derrick Lewis will happen? I would say, if Aspinall fights Cyril Gane, which is probably going to happen, if Aspinall fights Cyril Gane and Aspinall wins, Derrick Lewis fights somebody else in the heavyweight division. Like, let's just say Derrick Lewis fights fucking Waldo Cortez Acosta and knocks him out. I mean, at that point, Aspinall has beaten like everybody else, so they're probably going to give him Derrick Lewis for a fresh matchup. I don't think it's out of the realm, but Aspinall will be like minus 700 or something like that. I'm assuming. Give Walker a ranked opponent. Damn right. Herzog made me a ban with that stoppage. Yeah, I got to thank him for that. That was actually pretty nice. I'll take it. I love him for that too. It was kind of bogus. Like, if you're Taliesin Teixeira, you can't be too pissed because you got dropped. You grabbed the cage. So if you're going to be pissed that the ref stepped in, it's like, okay, first of all, let's put some accountability on it. Don't grab the cage, number one. Number two, don't get knocked down. And then maybe you could be pissed. But I don't think he really was that pissed about it. I think it was just a lot of people that had money on him. It's a heavyweight fight. If Herzog just took a point or gives Lewis position back, it will ruin the momentum. Lewis most likely would have put Tex out if he didn't climb the cage. Yeah, that's true. That's true. All that is true. But in the rule set, like, you can't just stop the fight because of a cage grab. It was unfortunate the way it stopped, but the ref has the hardest job, and it all happened so fast. Fence grab was obviously blatant, but the ref was doing his job to protect the fighter. I would agree. That's a tough decision to make as well. Very tough. Taliesin was kind of out a couple times. I mean, he definitely got clipped. There was like a couple ground and pound shots where his head like did this. And when your head's doing that, it usually means you're not all there. But like if you're taking the shot like that, then you're okay. But if you're getting hit like this and your head's bobbing, not a good look. Did anyone on the Long Shot Show hit a parlay? I don't think so. If there was, they would probably have put something together for it. I'd have to go back and watch it, but I don't think so. What's going on, brother? Hey, Jeff Turkey, how we doing? What do you think of the Wonder Boy fight? Did Thompson get robbed? I fully expected a split decision when they were reading the scorecards, because when I was watching the fight, I thought Bonfim won round one. I thought round two should probably go to Wonder Boy, but there's a lot of aspects to it. Like, Bonfim had little wrestling success, but also landed some good shots. Thompson hit him with a head kick. Thompson also split open his leg. by a check from Bonfim. So do you score the check from Bonfim? Because that literally tore his leg up, tore his shin up to where he was bleeding and it was wide open. It's nasty. So do you score that? I don't know. Like, it's kind of weird because if the cut was on his face, then obviously you would score that pretty heavily. But Thompson landed the head kick. He hurt him pretty badly at the end of round 2. So I kind of lean towards giving round 2 to Thompson, but it's a very tough round to score. I would lean towards Thompson. Round 3, not a lot happened. And it wasn't really like Thompson significantly outlanded him. The strikes were actually pretty close. Bonfim landed a couple shots. Thompson landed a couple hard body kicks, looked for the head kick again. And then it was kind of Bonfim trying to grapple, not really having success. So round 3 was close as well. I think you could give it either way. But going to the scorecards, I thought it was going to be a split decision. I was hoping they were going to give it to Wonder Boy, even though Bonfim was the last leg of the many men parlay. I was like, dude, just give it to Wonder Boy, bro. He's been through so much. He literally has white hair. He's walking out there with white hair. His shin is split open. He's a plus 350 underdog to this young up-and-coming guy. Just give him the decision, bro. Come on. They didn't do it, though. I kind of saw the fight playing out that way, too. That's why I didn't have any official bets on the fight. I thought Bonfim, if it made it to decision, it would be close. I almost took a shot on Wonder Boy by decision, but I was like, do I really trust him to win the minutes? Not really. So it'd have to be moments, and that's kind of how it played out. So ultimately, I passed on the fight betting-wise, but I was hoping they would give the decision to Thompson. Unfortunate. Who you got, Costa or Kopylov? What's up, Munir? Glad to see you in the chat. I'm going to pop open my Ollie Pop. I think I got Kopylov, bro, but he's a pretty hefty favorite. I don't know that I completely agree with it, but it's like, what version of Paulo Costa are we getting? Because every version we've seen in his last 5 fights, I really just don't think is all that great. This is the tough part about guys that are like super durable, super durable, very talented. When they go on a losing streak, you always kind of think like, well, their skills are still there. Like I can still see that he's doing some good things when he's in the cage, but he's just not winning fights. And Kopylov is a step down for Paulo Costa. So, I mean, considering Kopylov is minus 275, like it's a little bit tough to really like the Kopylov side at that type of chalk. Chino going in the top lip. We'll move on with the chats. Shriveled Sack. Do you know We Want Picks has on all? Do you know We Want Picks? He was on all the Adderall yesterday. No, I do not. Well, yeah, I know who We Want Picks is, but I don't know that he was on the Adderall. That's weird. Weird thing to put in the chat as well. Maybe elaborate if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Do you see Lewis actually moon the crowd? Yeah, I did see it. I didn't see his ass cheeks, but I saw him moon the crowd. That was pretty crazy. Public indecency. And then he was on the phone with Donald Trump. So that's pretty wild. Derrick Lewis is just a fucking weirdo, dude. Like the best kind of weirdo, though. Max Griffin do enough to win, outlanded him 67-52. I don't believe Max Griffin actually outlanded him. If you look at the stats, he didn't. But Griffin, I thought this is the same type of fight. Like I thought, I wasn't really watching it too intently because I had the over 2.5 rounds. And when you're playing overs, you kind of don't want to watch the fight. So I was like glancing, like looking at it, like doing a different thing. So I didn't really watch it too intently, but I thought Max Griffin was holding his own for the most part. I think just the fact that he was on the back foot for a majority of the fight wasn't a good look. And it seemed like every time Chris Curtis hit him, he felt it a little bit more than when Griffin was hitting Chris Curtis. You got to see his cheeks. Were you there in person, bro? Did Thompson do enough to win the fight? Arguable. I thought it was a 50-50 fight at the end of the day. Hey, do you like ice cream sandwiches? Yeah, I haven't had one in a long time, though. You're going to be locked in for PFL championships coming up. Wow, Wendy's fan. I didn't know you were such a big PFL fan. I didn't know there were any. But if that's this Saturday, I believe it is the South Africa card or whatever, I'll be locked in. Yeah. Should RDR get a title shot if he absolutely destroys Rob? I think you could make a great argument, bro. And I kind of think RDR does destroy Rob. I'm not going to lie. Munir, I know you're an RDR truther, but I think he might be able to do similar things that Hamzat did. Maybe not as cleanly, but I think he's going to be able to do similar things that Drickus did as well. Big physical guy, good grappler. I could see it, bro. Was this Austin Lane's last fight in the UFC? Possibly. About to be in the PFL next season or BKFC. Yeah, probably. Maybe Karate Combat. You never know. Dixon, why don't you go ahead and take the next couple plays off, boss? What up, Ryan? How we doing? Taffa brothers are the worst set of brothers in MMA. Just bring back Cabbage Patch. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, dude. Everyone got excited about Junior Taffa moving down to 205. Like he's skinnier now and he's in shape and maybe his cardio will be better because he's actually like having to work out. But at the end of the day, like his skills still suck and heavyweight skills suck. So when you go down a weight class to light heavyweight, they're a little bit better than heavyweights when it comes to overall skill set. So that's why I picked Tuco. Unfortunately, I didn't make any money off of him, but yeah, Taffa sucked. Great night for me. I had a huge money on Volter. He definitely looked good in the beginning of the first. Told you it was a lock of the weekend. I believe you did say that, 29 MC. I do kind of remember that. Davis finish, Matthews finish, Garcia decision. $100 to win. 31-1-2. Should have told me to bet it, bro. Should have told me to bet it. Should have gave it out on the Long Shots Only live show. Come on Friday next week. Average Joe 3%er. Come on the show this Friday. Long Shots Only live show. Give us your parlay, bro. You come in, you tell us what you hit last week, and then you give us another winner for UFC 318. How long is Thompson going to be out for? I saw he was in crutches and walking in a boot. I would say he's out for at least 6 months. Had a fun card just tuning in. How'd you do, Hayden? Our boy Jake Matthews came through. I did pretty well. I was up like 8-some units. DFS almost swept. We almost hit the 100X, almost hit the 20X. Hits both of my parlays on the premium bets. Hit Jake Matthews money line. The only really bad bet that I had was Calvin Kattar. That was the worst bet I had. But other than that, like Nate Landwehr money line. I mean, he was minus 500 live. Had him by decision as well. Those were pretty good bets. Hit the fight to end in round 3 in the first fight of the night. Klein head kicked her. Lucky cash, but it cashed. So it was a good night, man. It was a good night. And we're doing well. We're doing well. There is PFL. Yeah, you can't forget about PFL, man. What's your honest take on Waldo versus Lewis? Derek said he wants that. I would like to see it. Honest take, I think Waldo could beat him, bro. Like, Waldo has a granite chin, huge head, but he's never faced the Black Beast power. So I would actually love to see that fight. I think that might be the fight to make. What's Derrick Lewis ranked right now? Is he like, he's got to be top 8, right? Oh my God, not fan rankings. Get the fuck out of here. Bro, show me the damn rankings. All right, either way. For some reason, it took me to fan rankings. Asked me for my rankings, but I'm not doing that. I think Waldo versus Lewis sounds like the fight, to be honest. How do you think the Ige fight goes? Fight to go the distance? Question mark. Yeah, I think Ige wins. I could see Ige knocking him out. But I think it could be a very low-paced fight. Very low-paced fight. I think there could be a lot of staring. I already broke it down on my early picks video. So go check that out. It's already posted. I broke down, gave my early thoughts on every single fight on UFC 318. It's on the YouTube channel. Go check it out. But I think Ige wins. I think Ige could maybe snipe him with a counter shot, but I think it's going to be low pace because both guys are kind of counter boxers. You think Waldo can outwork Derrick? I think he definitely can. Nate looked like prime Max Holloway in the second round. I loved the Nate Landwehr moneyline pick. I tailed it, but once again, a Frenchman ruins my night. Yeah. I mean, Nate Landwehr's style is so weird, and he was taking over in round two. Round two, he was looking amazing. And then I think he got a little bit too hyped up because at the end of round two, I don't know if you guys caught this, but he was like yelling at Morgan Charrier when the round ended and they're walking back to their corners. Nate was yelling at him. And I was like, oh God. For one, I was laughing. I was like, Nate's a fucking lunatic. And then he came out. I think he was just too hyped up and got caught. Unfortunate. P Savage, how we doing, brother? JB, my guy, smoke the like button, everybody. Yeah. Hopefully you had a good night, JB. I'm not sure how you did, but I know you had some good calls. And unfortunately, I don't think you played them, but we were talking in the DMs and we were both talking about Vitor Petrino by sub. We were both talking about Tuco Tokos. And JB said Tokos by sub. Crazy. Is Haymaker in the chat? I doubt it. But he's probably sleeping in his mom's basement. Crazy our uncle got robbed like that. Yeah, that sucks, dude. Took Calvin Cater too. I'm going to say this. Calvin Cater, not getting my money ever again. I don't care if he's up against the worst fighter in the world. He's not getting my money. Excited to see Gaultier fight again, bro. Such a physical specimen. How do you think his future is going in the UFC? Definitely think he has flexibility at 6'4" to go up to light heavyweight. Dude, I love me some Ateba Gaultier. All right? Ateba Gaultier. That's the Mini Ngannou. Mini Ngannou is probably one of my, for guys that nobody really knows, like as far as the casual goes, I think he has like 14,000 followers on Instagram. Like that is a dude that when he's fighting, like I'm locked in because that dude is extremely explosive. Just like the epitome of a physical specimen. 6'4", 81-inch reach, crazy knockout power, extremely strong. I mean, he defends takedowns by literally just being stronger than the other guy and sprawling. It's insane. He doesn't have much off his back. Like if he gets taken down, he doesn't know jiu-jitsu. So that's what scares me in his fight this Saturday. But, the fight's got to hit the ground first. And I don't know that Valentine's that great of a wrestler, but, Valentine, I've given Valentine, some level of respect, but he's burned me twice now. And he's a huge dog. Like, do I really want to go back to that? I don't really want to. So, yeah, Gaultier, I think his future in the UFC, he's 23, I think, 23 or 24. Should be bright. They just can't give him too many good opponents right away. They got to build him up. I was talking about the PFL Championship, which I believe is, you're talking about PFL Championships. Yeah, I'll be locked in for that. It should be like 5 or 6 titles on the line. I'll be locked in. The real question is, was Garcia fought well or Cater just fought a bad fight? What do you think? I think both. Both, but I think more of it was on Cater just literally not throwing anything at him. Steve's a good fighter and he's a good striker, but when you're not getting any resistance and the guy can just pretty much do whatever he wants, it's not really a fight then. Like it looked like Calvin Cater was sparring and Steve Garcia was fighting. Like it looked like Calvin Cater was scared to throw anything to get hit. He was constantly shelling up like this, took the back foot the entire fight, not really even looking for counters. And every time he did look for a counter, he would whiff. Like it was terrible. I missed it, but did they announce Marab versus Sandhagen? I saw that they were going to announce it on one of the upcoming UFC broadcasts, but wasn't sure which one. I haven't heard any rumors, but I do know that Marab said that he wants to fight very soon. And I would assume that Merab's going to fight Corey Sandhagen. They didn't announce it, though. It's an interesting fight, though. I don't think Corey's completely dead in that fight. When does Contender Series return? I think it's should be in a couple weeks. I think it should be in a couple weeks, man. It's usually like end of August or end of July, early August, something like that. Like the new setup a lot. Yeah, we're going to get it a little bit better. Probably going to put another neon sign here with my logo. But it's coming together, boys. It's coming together. I appreciate that, 29MC. I had Magny as a lock versus Bum Gunner at plus 260. Slam that hard. Is it canceled? Still up on Hard Rock? I believe it's canceled, yeah. Unfortunate. You watch an Ultimate Fighter new season, any of those guys have potential to make UFC. I haven't watched a single episode of it. There's going to be a time where I'm going to have to go back and watch all of them. I'll probably just go back and watch all the fights because I don't really care about the other shit that's going on, but I'll probably go back and watch every single fight just so I'm up to date when the Ultimate Fighter finale comes around. I think Dustin is going to walk away with the BMFL. Kind of crazy that he's an underdog. He's plus 110, very close fight. He's already beat Max twice. And it seems like, a lot of people are on the Max Holloway side, and I agree with it, but, Boca Boxing, baby, it's on my hat. Boca Boxing. DP, it's our boy. Do I want to bet against our boy? Not really. Hope you're wrong about Dustin versus Max, LOL. Yeah, I mean, I hope I do. I hope I am too. I just think Max is a little bit more in his prime. And at 155, everybody thought when Max fought Gaethje that Gaethje would win because Max had already gone to 155 and fought Poirier. And what happened in that fight was Max Holloway landed more volume, but Dustin Poirier landed the bigger shots, had more impact on his shots, and it was able to take Max Holloway's shots a lot better. So he won the fight. And everybody thought that was going to happen when he fought Gaethje. But I think Max looked a lot better at 155 this time around. Granted, it's different matchups. But also, I think Max at 155 isn't undersized. He's taller than Poirier. If he just had to build into the frame a little bit, and I think now he's kind of built into the frame. He's a younger guy. I think he's in his prime a little bit more. Poirier's body's failing him a little bit. So that's kind of why I'm leaning towards Max, but I think it is a close fight. I think Garcia fought Great Cater, just washed Tony style. Definitely could be. Steve just dog walked him. He did. Top man, hey job. Hood Surdy. Hood Curdy. How we doing, bro? You think Ryan Spann is going to gas out? If it makes it past, the 7.5 minute mark, probably, but I don't know if it's going to. I think they will announce it during Dustin versus Max card. I agree with you, Jesus. I agree. Thoughts on Fatima Klein? I've been watching her since the CCFC days and always thought she'd be a real talent in the UFC. Yeah, she's good. I think she's got to improve in some things, but she's still very young and she still hasn't had that many MMA fights. So Fatima Klein, I always kind of I think her striking's underrated. Her striking's actually pretty good. But I expected her to use her grappling, and she had a lot of troubles using that grappling. So I think the grappling is really good defensively because if she gets taken down, she's got good jiu-jitsu. I think it's just her wrestling that needs to improve if she wants to get to the next level. I mean, it's the same thing with Erin Blanchfield. She's great on the mat, but getting the fight on the mat is tough for her. So very similar fighter, honestly. Who you got for Kevin Holland next fight? Isn't it soon? It's this Saturday, my boy. He's fighting D-Rod, and I think he's going to kill D-Rod. 8-12. I don't know what that means, Pubs Grubs, but is Holland KO live? I'm probably going to bet it if the odds is over plus 200. I think the finish is definitely live for Holland. I think he probably does find it. Stream setup and graphics on new early picks video looking clean. I appreciate that. Jacob Gilly put a lot of work into the graphics. I did them this morning. It's not the most fun work, but it does make for a better show. So I appreciate that, Jacob. Who won the first fight between Vittori and Allen? Give us the spill, dude. So I was there in the Hard Rock. I didn't see it happen though. I went over this on the early picks video, but if you haven't watched it yet, I was in the Hard Rock when it happened. and I saw Vettori earlier on in the night, and I wanted to go up and say hi to him and get a picture, maybe, but he didn't really look very approachable. So maybe Vettori was on edge. Maybe he had seen Brendan Allen earlier in the night, and then after the fights, that's when they fought at the Hard Rock. And it looked to me like Brendan Allen kind of got the better of him, but it was back and forth, man. It was back and forth, people pulling him off. We're gonna have to see this Saturday. Kind of crazy that they're doing that though. They're both like 30 years old. Why are you fighting guys at the Hard Rock? You see that Ilya said that Gaethje hits harder than Ilya, and how he said his win streak is overrated. I think you mean Max said that Gaethje hits harder than Ilya. Yeah, I did see that, and I don't really agree with it. I don't really agree with that. I saw Max said that he was kind of diminishing Ilya's run of beating Volk and Charles, but I don't know. Maybe he's just kind of salty he got KO'd by him. What do you think about Michael Morales? I'm kind of on his train right now. I think he's pretty damn good, dude. I mean, I watched him live at the Apex when he knocked out Gilbert Burns, and I can tell you, he looked a weight class bigger than Gilbert Burns. And I've stood next to Gilbert Burns. I walk around about 190 pounds. And when I was next to Gilbert Burns, like I felt kind of small. And when I saw Gilbert next to Michael Morales, I thought Gilbert looked small. So Michael Morales is a unit. And I was probably 10, 15 feet away from him when he made his walkout. Michael Morales is huge for the weight class. Very physical guy, still young. I think he's going to be pretty dang good, dude. I think he destroys Leon Edwards. I would agree, dude. I get what you mean, though, because Dustin Max, too, is short notice fight, not enough time. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Legend, keep up the content. I appreciate that, bro. Appreciate it. We will keep doing it. Cooked up DFS myself. I have Ryan under on strikes, Kevin low on strikes, Ige lower on strikes, Roman higher, Nicole lower. It doesn't sound too bad. I took a look at it, but I didn't really there wasn't a ton of things that jumped off the board to me, so I didn't really want to lock anything in. I want to take some more deeper looks at it. 8-12. Okay, 8-12. So that's what, August 12th, week 1 contender series. Appreciate that. Pubs Grubs. The graphics look good. I appreciate that. I meant Max Holloway on my comment. Yeah, I got you. Didn't post it on the long shot stream, but I had Morgan KO. Steve Garcia at plus 1,500 free. Come on next week, Jacob. Come on next week, bro. You see how Max Holloway said that Gaethje? Yeah, I got you. I got you on there, Wendy's fan. I think Max, it's kind of weird for Max to say, too, because Max isn't really that guy. But, I mean, maybe there is some substance to it, because Volk he was coming off the KO to Islam. So, I mean, that is true. Charles, definitely not in his prime, and kind of fought like an idiot. So there is that. But, like, where's the excuse for losing to Poirier from Max Holloway? There really isn't. Because, I mean, I don't think he's out of his prime. I guess maybe you could say his prime was a little bit go, but he's like 32 years of age, if that. So I don't really see Max not in his prime. So that win is pretty dang good for Ilya Topuria. Diamonds are forever. Plus 105. I guess MMA Locker Room is slamming that Dustin Poirier money line. I would love to see it. I don't know if it's going to happen, though. Do you think Kyler Phillips is live to win this weekend? He is by far my favorite dog of the weekend. I watched a little bit of tape on that one today. I watched a lot of Kyler Phillips tape, really. I got to watch some more Vinicius Oliveira tape. But, dude, I think Kyler needs to win within the first 7.5 minutes. Like, I think he's got to either clip him with a big shot and put him out, or get him on the ground and submit him, or clip him with a big shot and submit him. Because that last 7.5 minutes of the fight, that guy gets tired. Like, Kyler Phillips doesn't have the best gas tank, which is crazy because he's an MMA lab guy, and that just doesn't make sense. But he doesn't have the best gas tank. And when he's on the back foot, I don't think it's going to be good, because Vinicius Oliveira on the front foot, dangerous dude. So I think he's live to win early, because Vinicius has been knocked out before. But I don't know that. Like, it's a tough fight to call for me. I got to watch more film on it. But I know later in the fight, like, Oliveira is probably going to have a lot of success. Hard luck for Cater. I was hoping to see a boxing clinic last night. Yeah. Freaking Cater, bro. Jake Matthews versus Gilbert Burns. I think he called him out. Yeah. Wendy said it. Called him out. Jake Matthews versus Gilbert Burns. I think that's a solid fight, man. I think that's a solid fight. MMA locker room, or is the best blessed? Who is the BMF, baby? Does anyone actually really care about the BMF title? I think the only guy that really cares is Chael Sonnen, because he brings it up all the time. You know what's hilarious? I never really do this, but I was watching Good Guy, Bad Guy, or at least I was listening to it, and Chael Sonnen and DC are talking about the fight at the White House. They're talking about who's going to be the main event. Do you know what Chael Sonnen said? Chael Sonnen said, bring back the BMF title and make it a rematch between Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz. Chael Sonnen, that is one of the worst takes I've ever heard. Okay? You're going to bring back Jorge Masvidal, who's like 40 years of age, Nate Diaz, who lost to Jake Paul in boxing. You're going to bring them back? Bring them back for the main event of the White House? And you're going to put a BMF title in there? That is the worst thing I've ever heard. Trained at the same spot as D-Rod, and I know a black belt that ragdoll D-Rod. This should be an easy fight for Kevin on the ground. Neil Magny is proof for that. Yeah, that Neil Magny submission loss is not a great look for D-Rod. I think Kevin Holland gets him out of there, bro. To be honest, I see Dustin subbing Max towards the end of the third. I think Max will be quicker, but Dustin is underrated ground game, especially with strikers. He does have a good jiu-jitsu game. Maybe this is the time he gets the Gilly, dude. Maybe this is the time. This would be the perfect time for Dustin Poirier to get the Gilly. I mean, he submitted him the first time, didn't he? In the first fight. I think he submitted him with like an armbar or something, triangle armbar. Max Holloway's first fight in the UFC, though. Ilya is the real BMF. That is true. Max ground game isn't even that good. No one in the featherweight division has ever tested it besides Ilya. I mean, it's not really offensive. It's more defensive, but yeah, I get where you're coming from. Poirier get the BMF and retire the belt with him. The White House card is goofy cringe. Isn't even going to happen, circus act. I guess Dana White said the White House is definitely going to happen. I'll believe it when I see it, but it sounds like they're actually taking steps towards making the venue. I don't remember if he said if it was going to be a smaller venue like the Apex, or if he's going to stick to what President Trump said with the 20,000, but it doesn't really make sense to me how they're going to pull it off. He was also asked if they're going to build like something over the octagon. So if, say it's raining out, that they have a cover over the octagon. And he said, I don't know. So that's great news, but sounds like they're going through with it, and we'll see. Holistic, how we doing? It would be dope if they retired the belt if Dustin wins for a retirement fight, but don't see it happening. Yeah, they're never going to retire the BMF belt, because it's some random thing they can throw at a fight to make it a main event of a pay-per-view. That's really the only reason they have it, because they have so many pay-per-views during the year. I think it's 13. They have 13 pay-per-views in a year, and they can't make a title fight every single time. So they just have a BMF title laying around for whenever they can't fill a card with a title fight, and they'll just throw a BMF title on the line so it has a title on it. Call me crazy, but I think Michael Johnson can finish Zell Huber. He has really good takedown defense, and he's super fast. Ramiro, I'm going to call you crazy for that one. I'm not going to lie to you. But good luck. Did you train with him in or Las Vegas? I don't know. Oh, you're talking about the other guy. He's going to have to answer that. I can't. Max distance control is at 55 is better than 45. It's true. He's faster. Faster than a lot of the 55ers. I hate the whole narrative of John versus Tom at the White House, Conor versus Chandler, pure trash narrative. I mean, if John Jones is going to come back, he's only going to come back to fight at the White House. So maybe that's the reason why Dana White is like, we got to make this fucking happen because we got to get John Jones back. And considering they're still in like the broadcast negotiations, just imagine the leverage you could have on a Netflix, a Prime Video, or even just ESPN Plus to say, yeah, next year we're going to have John Jones fighting at the White House. That's going to get a lot of money from these broadcast partners. I could tell you that. Dana needs that Gilly win, or Diamond. Diamond needs that Gilly win so he can get that bronze statue in his backyard. Yeah, dude, I hope he gets it, man. I hope he gets it. Brendan Allen, cheap price this weekend. What do you think, hey, Job? 3-rounder. It's going to be tough. I think it could be close, man. I think it could be close. Brendan Allen's wrestling's not that great. His jiu-jitsu is good, but Vittori's never been finished, so it's probably going to go to decision. And I think it could be a close fight. I wouldn't be super confident in Brendan Allen, but I think he probably wins. Yeah, I agree. My read is Kyler Phillips round 1 or 2 sub. I could see it. John wouldn't even make it to the White. John would love to be at the White House. I can tell you that. He would make it. He would make it as long as he's not in jail for whatever charges he's getting now. Do you believe that John Jones is actually unretiring, or do you think he was just bluffing so they make him the White House fight? Maybe he is, but I don't know what the fuck is up with John Jones because he had the thing in February with the charges. I don't know what they were. He's getting charged with something for ditching the girl in the car after he crashed it, supposedly. And then we learned that there was another instance in June where he did something, got more charges, and then a couple days later he retires. So I don't know what he's doing, man. I don't know what he's doing. Would you be down to box Ben the Bane in BKFC? If the money's right, I ain't gonna do it for free because BKFC is nasty. But sign me up. If they're gonna give me a decent amount of money, it doesn't gotta be anything crazy. But BKFC against Ben the Bane, I'm in. If there's a weight class, I could probably get to like 160. If I really diet, I could probably get to like 160. If that works, that's cool. Buckley or Ian Gary? I think I'd take Ian Gary. Allen/Poirier parlay. What you think, hey, Jive? Well, you're taking the Louisianans. You might as well throw Carly Judice in there, brother. But that's a sketchy parlay, Scott. I'm not going to lie. How do you see the White House fight playing out? What would happen if it rains? How would that work? I assume they have to have some type of enclosure over the octagon in case it rains. There's also the factor that it's July 4th in Washington, D.C. Like, it could be 80, 90 degrees out. So it's going to be hot as shit. And I know that's during the daytime, but even at nighttime, it's probably going to be 70-some degrees. You know, you're also going to be fighting at night. It's going to get dewy. Like the actual canvas of the octagon might have some moisture in it. So that these fighters might actually be slipping around in there too. There's so many variables to it where it just doesn't even make sense to how they could pull it off. Now, have there been outside events before as well? Yeah, there's outside events all the time, but they're usually in some arena or some stadium where there's already seating and they're able to make some type of enclosure over either the ring or the cage. So it doesn't make sense to me, man. What does the first round of Max versus Dustin look like in your opinion, and Costa versus Kopylov first round? I could see Dustin looking for a lot of leg kicks. If Max is going to use his movement, I think that's going to be a big thing for Dustin, is looking for those leg kicks. And Max is going to be trying to establish the jab. Probably going to be switching stances, moving around a lot. If Dustin can land some of those leg kicks, that can hurt the volume of Max. But Gaethje landed some pretty hard leg kicks, and Max didn't really have a problem with the movement. I think that's how first round really looks. I think it's Dustin looking for leg kicks, Max looking to move around and feel him out and kind of get his reads going. Costa Kopylov first round. I think Kopylov's same way, looking to establish his kicks, looking to establish his jab. Costa, I don't know what Costa's going to do, but if I was his coach, I would tell him to pressure. Maybe look for a level change, look for some cage push, use your physicality. That's what I'll tell him to do, but I don't know what he's going to do, to be honest. Do I have an Ozempic plug for you in Florida? No, but I'm sure if you go down to Florida, you're probably going to be able to find Ozempic because it's everywhere. So you're not going to have a problem. Am I crazy to think UFC Abu Dhabi is better than 318? Seriously, except the main event and the other fights are pretty mid for 318. Yeah, I mean, you're not crazy to think about that. Obviously, there's some good fights on UFC 318, but I think Abu Dhabi's pretty dang good. I'm not complaining, though, man. Like, I'm not going to complain about it because 318 has some good fights. It's a pay-per-view. That's cool. But then next week, we get UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi, and Abu Dhabi has amazing fights as well. So we get 2 weeks. I'd rather have 2 weeks of, good fights than 1 week of great fights, and then the next week's like an Apex card that nobody cares about. So I'm not really going to complain. It's wild, bro. John said, I'm done fighting, and then boom, his zesty mouth drops to fight the White House. Yeah. John is maybe a little bit, what do you call it? A little bit hasty, man. A little bit impulsive. I think that's probably what I would describe John Jones as. A little bit impulsive. Dick's Insider. What do you order when you go to the Brazilian steakhouse? I think Brazilian steakhouses usually bring out a ton of different meats, so I'm not really sure, bro. When I'm talking to you about training, yeah, homie. Billy with the 279 Canadian, I believe it is. Step foot in Texas, you'll be an urban legend. I actually lived in Texas for a year, but I appreciate the 279 dono from Billy, Canadian. Appreciate that, brother. Ian Gary versus Bilal going to happen? Haven't they gone back and forth recently? I think it should happen. I don't know that it's going to happen because it's like a month away from the Chicago card. Still got to figure out if I'm going to Chicago. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon. Looking back at it now, the dumb excuses John said to avoid the Tom fight. Tom doesn't interest me. I want to find Jamal, Derrick, Alex, dude. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm a bag of bones and weigh 170. Legend has it, I'm Sean Woodson's brother. Hey, if you're Sean Woodson's brother, then y'all got to start eating something, bro. Those skinny legs are gonna crack one day. One day. Thoughts on Oliveira versus Phillips matchup? I already talked about this one, but I think Phillips early, Oliveira late. Just kind of way I see it, but I gotta watch more tape on Oliveira. Thought Dana was so against hosting outdoor events. He is very against hosting outdoor events. Very. Many times he said he won't do it. Wasn't that the whole issue with Fight Island about the heat? Yeah, but that was indoors. Just to think about an outdoor event where it's 75, 80 degrees out, and then the possibility of it raining, the possibility of as the night goes on, it's gonna the moisture is gonna collect on the canvas as well. Not a good look, man. I don't see how it happens. If the Epstein files come out, this UFC White House card goes out the window because Trump is 100% on it. Well, you said it, not me, Dick's Insider. I don't know much about the Epstein files, but I'll take your word for it, I guess. What do you think about Dana saying he helped Ben Askren out with the financial stuff? Good that he helped Ben Askren. Ben Askren probably lives 20 minutes away from me. So I was at the parade in Heartland where Ben Askren lives, and there was a lot of support for Ben Askren. This was before he got the lung transplant, and it just sucks to see. You know, he's a really good dude, and life hit him in a very hard way. So I hope that he can recover and get back to normalcy and live his life, because he's got a family and he's got a lot of stuff a lot of life left to live. So I hope that he can do that. And it's cool to see that Dana did help him. And I mean, he probably should help him, but at the end of the day, like, he didn't have to do that. And, you know, he doesn't boast about it. So that's good. I think after this fight, Costa is going to get cut. Maybe he'll be in PFL. Hit your first cycle yesterday, attaboy. Ian or Buckley? I'm going to go with Ian now, boys. I'm going to go with Ian. After Buckley lost to Kamaru Usman, I'm going to take Ian. Win or lose, just cut him. He's a bum. Hayden, is the casino a good place to meet a potential wife? Depends what casino you go to. If you go to some rinky-dink casino, definitely not. If you go to some nicer ones, possibly, but you got to be real. You got to be real experienced, okay? If you go to some nicer casinos, there's going to be probably some gold diggers there. I'll just say that. So you got to watch yourself for sure, but I wouldn't rule it out. Dixon. Maybe give it a shot. A part of me thinks Johnson wins. Sorry, champ. Don't get at me. First round KO. Ninja Chad head kick. Ninja Chad kick, not head kick. Good luck, bro. One of these people that are putting hot honey on everything these days. I'm not. Not down the hot honey trail. Maybe I will be in the future, though. I'm not going to rule it out. John Jokes is the P. Diddy of MMA. He really is. What do you think about the fight between Drake? It's my boy, dude. It's my boy. I ain't going against Drake. They bring him out a bunch of different meats. So like a sample platter. No, they like come around. They like shave it off. I'm pretty sure. I don't know that I've ever been to one, but that's what I think it is. The price has gone down at all for UFC Chicago. Oh, let's check it out. Now that I got to kind of figure out if I'm going or not. Let's check it out. We'll open the old tab here. We'll go to an undisclosed app. UFC 319. Let's take a look at these prices. 2 tickets. Cheapest seats, $558 for one. That's disgusting. If you want to sit in the 100s to where you'll actually be able to see the fighters, you're going to be paying at least $1,000 a ticket. Not ideal. Not ideal whatsoever. If you want to be on the floor, you'll be pushing about $4,000, a little bit more per ticket. Not great. So, yeah, I don't know if they've come down at all, but they are still very pricey. So that's going to hurt the bank. Hopefully, we make some big coin in the next couple of weeks, and then I'll cop some tickets, but we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to go to Chicago, dude. I'm not rich, I could tell you that. But let's just say we make a couple thousand on the bets in the next couple of weeks. Maybe I'll pull the trigger then. You know, if I would have hit the 10K, the $100 to win 10K on better picks last night, then maybe I would have pulled the trigger, but we lost by 1. So unfortunately not. But we'll see. Is UFC becoming more and more like WWE marketing wise? Kind of, yeah. I kind of agree. What do I have to do to get early picks prior to YouTube? I use Better. Can I get them by signing up for Home Picks? Yes, absolutely. All of the DFS plays, so Underdog and Better, gets posted to the Home Fight Picks Winnable as soon as I put them in. So when I put them in, I send them out to you, and that's usually on Sunday if the lines are good. Usually Monday, I would say. Usually Monday is when I lock them in. So I usually lock them in Sunday or Monday, and then I send them out to you guys and then you guys get the lines before they move drastically, and then later in the week, that's when I share them for free. So that's a huge, huge prop of being in the Home of Fight Picks premium memberships. You get those picks sent to you early on, so you can catch them before the big line shifts. Buck or cuck? Give me the cuck, bro. Give me the cuck. Why is Mike Chandler so obsessed with adopting black kids, bro? I don't know, man. I don't know. I would probably maybe look for an interview where he's asked about that. Oh my God, bro. Berlanga got a blitter. Who's Berlanga? What do you think is next for the Toffa brothers? Aren't they really bad? I think they should both get cut. I agree. They should both get cut. Movzar or Pico? Who you got? I think I got Movzar, bro. I don't know why I would take Pico over Movzar. Why is DR getting another rank shot after losing 3 straight to Magny? I mean, this just comes down to them making a fight on like 2 or 3 weeks notice. Both guys, D-Rod and Kevin Holland, they always step in for these short notice or like 2 to 3 week notice fights. So I see why they did it. It's just another fun fight. Hayden, I know you're probably not completely familiar with UFC's official Wiki Feet page, but if you had to rank 3 male fighters with the hottest feet in MMA, who would you put in your top 3? I don't know anything about MMA fighters' feet because I'm not a foot guy. I can tell you that I'm not a foot guy. Doesn't get me going. So I've never really checked it out, but I honestly kind of interested to see who the top fighters is. So I'm going to look it up. Wiki Feet, UFC. Oh, I guess there's no rankings. You just search a database. They got feet of the week. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm not going into that. All right. Well, yeah, I can't really give you your rankings, Dixon. I'm sorry. I'm not a foot guy. I've never really looked at women's feet like that. So haven't checked out any of the MMA fighters' feet. But I'll give you this. I'll give you Verna Jandiroba. I'll give you Lauren Murphy. And give me Zhang Weili. Pretty good. UFC Nashville was my first live event, and D. Lewis cleared my plus 800 parlay W experience. Nashville crowd, I thought was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. That is what I always would tell a UFC fan making or like waiting to go to their first UFC experience in person. I would always tell them to go to a fight night first. Always go to a fight night because the fight night crowds are better than the pay-per-view crowds. That's because people that are going to a fight night, most of them are local because most fans don't really travel like to go to see a fight night, you know. They're only going to travel really for like a pay-per-view. So a lot of them are local and they haven't really gone to a UFC before, or they're just diehard fans. The UFC's in their area. So they show up for like the first fight of the night. They'll actually show up for the prelims. But if you go to a pay-per-view in Las Vegas or even any of these other cities, like a Miami, a pay-per-view in Newark, New Jersey, they're not going to show up until like the main card. So I always tell people, if you're going to go to a UFC event for the first time, go to a fight night in your area. It'll be the best experience for you. Do we think this UFC White House event will be what unites the country and political parties like Bloods versus Crips tying bandanas together? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. Lewis fight was so exciting for all 35 seconds. Man, thank you. My man, thank you. Taking your picks, I turned $50 into $5K. I was able to put down first and last on my new place. Atta boy, Garrett. Atta boy. That's what we love to see. Congratulations. Glad you cashed in. Lewis versus Blades too? Maybe. Volkov or Lewis, only chance versus Tom. I mean, Volkov could maybe give him a tough fight, and Lewis could maybe knock him out. But I don't know if anybody's going to beat Tom, dude. Who is next up and coming UFC star? Someone not many people thinking about. I'm going to say Kevin Vallejos, bro, because that's usually my answer, just because I think his boxing is so nice, dude. His boxing is so nice. Petr Yan versus McGee. I mean, how could I not go with Petr Yan, dude? Am I going to go against Petr Yan? No. Best UFC fighter right now is Norma Dumont. Hottest. That's a weird text. Does that say hottest? All right, bro. Bryce versus Nate the Train as early prelim of UFC White House card if Bryce loses at 135. I would be down for that, bro. I would be down. Any local non-UFC events that you know of around Chicago area? I know APFC, Austin, Anthony Pettis fighting championship in Milwaukee usually. I know that one's pretty decent. They usually have some good guests there as well. I think Poirier was there a couple weeks ago. So APFC. I'm hoping they give the winner of Mozart Pico the shot on a quick turnaround. It's happening soon enough. I don't want to see you're in there. And Lopez, yeah, I agree. I feel like Max is going to look so much faster than Dustin. Dustin's going to, oh, we lost the Instagram stream. Sorry, Instagram. We hit an hour. I feel like Max is going to look so much faster than Dustin. Dustin's going to get super frustrated. I could see that, but I don't think he's going to get frustrated. I think he'll just maybe start forcing stuff, and that's maybe when Max can take advantage of him. I think the White House is not appropriate to host fights, to be honest. I feel like we don't need that to happen at the White House. I agree. Have you talked about the Poirier Holloway hype or lack thereof? Not much publicity, and I'm kind of looking past it for what Holloway could do after already. I mean, I saw like 20 promos for it when I was watching UFC Nashville, so they're trying to hype it up. I don't think it's like a fight that needs to be hyped up, though, because, like, these guys are going to fight, and it's going to be a good fight. So I don't really think needs to be a lot of hype around it. Everybody knows Poirier. Everybody knows Max Holloway, and we both know that they like to stand and bang, or at least stand and strike. So I don't think it's a fight that needs a ton of hype. Max can get it done this time around. He definitely can. We still go into the White House, possibly. Do you think Dana is mad at Trump for announcing the White House fight? Doesn't Dana not? Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that Dana wasn't involved in that at all. And that was kind of weird to me. That's kind of why it turns me off to think that the fight at the White House is just not even going to happen. But I don't think he's that pissed at him. And he's not going to be pissed at Donald Trump. All right, boys, I'm going to hit this last chat, and then I'm going to hop out of here. But it was a good stream. I appreciate y'all for joining. Will, I disagree with the idea that it's inappropriate to have UFC White House. It's not dogfighting for sure. Yeah, I don't think it's inappropriate. I just don't think it's plausible considering all that needs to go on for it to happen. But appreciate y'all for joining tonight, boys. Sunday service in the books. UFC 318 pay-per-view fight week is on the horizon. I already dropped the early picks video on the YouTube channel. So after this, go check it out if you haven't already. Drop a like there. Drop a like on the stream. Drop a like on the stream. Stay tuned to the channel this week. We got a live betting breakdown on Tuesday. It's going to be a good time in the stream. And then we got the official picks video on Wednesday. Best bets video on Thursday. Long shots only live show on Friday. Going to be a good week. Pay-per-view. Max Holloway. Dustin Poirier trilogy. Let's go, boys. We out.